You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. So I mentioned I had a spot out by the road, I mean, the front. It's embarrassing. Neighbors going by, hey, there's Ken. He owns a garden center. Look at that thing. That plant keeps dying. And I go, what the heck? I've replaced the soil. I know there's some root competition from some other trees around, but I'd cleared those out, cut them out. And I was digging. I was going to plant a new rose. It's a beautiful new Grace and Grit rose, shrub rose, easiest to care for of all the roses. They bloom constantly. It was a strong plant, the perfect size. It just fit. I started digging in this part of this raised bed of all things by the mailbox. And I started hitting rocks. I'm going, okay, that could be part of it. I got some roots. I cut those out. And then it happened. I started finding these ugly C-shaped worms, grubs, white grubs. They were the size of maybe a quarter. They weren't gigantic. They weren't small, but they were numerous. And I'm going, oh, now I get it. Now I know why my plants were dying. They were doing so great for 2 years. All of a sudden they're croaking in the heat. What is going on? Here's what grubs do and what grubs are. So grubs, they are a beetle. So you're seeing the beetles flying around at night all over the place. The big ones, the small ones, they're just flying around. June beetles, big rhino needles. They're all kinds of beetles. And so they don't grow up looking like that. They've got a larva stage called a grub. So they live virtually their entire life underground. And then they're kind of like a butterfly, only they don't just, okay, caterpillars eat foliage like crazy. Well, grubs eat roots like crazy. That's their main diet for a couple of years. They'll be eating the roots on your plants, eating all the starches, all the sugars of the root. And then you see something happen in the middle of summer and you're going, what the heck? It was looking so good. And it just collapsed in the heat. What's happening? The grubs had eaten enough of the roots off the plant. It could not grow them back fast enough. And so literally when the heat came, it didn't have enough roots underneath it to sustain the top growth. And so it croaked, it died. And that's what happened. And now I killed the grubs. We're not going to tolerate that. That is unacceptable at the Lain Casa. That's not going to happen. And so this part of the garden is beautiful. It's premier. It's showpiece. It's like the central place you look in my gardens. I had to have it look stunning. I want to come home, drive in my driveway and go, oh, I love coming home to you plants. You just make me happy. Look at the style, the design, the fragrance, the butterflies, the hummingbirds. Oh my gosh, I love coming home. That's how I want to feel when I drive back to my house. That's how I want to feel when guests come over, when family comes over, when neighbors walk by. I want to be proud of my gardens. I'm a gardener. That's what gardeners do. And so this plant, I actually abandoned this hole because I've killed 3 plants. I went, okay, that's it. 3 strikes and you're out at the Lain. We're not doing that. And I tried a lot of stuff. So I put grub killer down, killed the grubs because I know there are more grubs in the surrounding soils, not just that one plant. And so I've treated all of the plants. I figured, I'm going to put antibiotic basically for all the plants here. So grubs are dead. Not going to happen here. So the beetles, they come in and they find nice, rich soils and they start laying eggs because you're going, oh, nice, rich soils that stay moist. That's where I want my babies to grow up. And there'll be plenty of roots growing in there. Normally they're used to eating weeds, roots like dandelions, but instead they get these luscious hibiscus and salvias and evergreens. I'm gonna lay eggs here. And then all of a sudden you don't even see them coming at you by the dozens, if not more. And so there, after I got done filling back that hole, I did not plant the rose. I put a piece of large flagstone over that raised bed piece. So it's laying on top of the block that are retaining this thing over the soil. It's perfectly level. It looks beautiful. It looks like it's part of the raised bed. And then I dragged my largest, most beautiful red oxblood container that has a fantail palm. It's stunning. It's a big palm tree in a container. It's been in there for years. It's not supposed to grow in our region, but a gardener, you never tell them that. A gardener will find a way to grow a plant, even when you tell them they can't. Well, I like palm trees. They give that exotic Mediterranean look. It's got creeping thyme around the edges. So I dragged that up there, made a little ramp so I can get it up in over the ankle busting rocks, these little tiny riprap, so they call it. But okay, I'm gonna have to make a path because I can't keep this palm out here in the winter. I'm gonna drag it back where I normally store it under the patio. I'm gonna bring out my Tanioshio pine, which is also showy in the winter. So I'm gonna trade them off, and it's gonna be striking, designer-esque. It's gonna be whoa. I love that guy. Must own a garden center, and you'd be right. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of went, grubs are bad. I killed them. And when I have a hole that's just struggling, I just stop doing that. And I bring a container out and I just replace it that way. Sometimes you got to stop beating your head into the garden soil and just go realize, maybe if I just bring a beautiful glazed pot, or hey, just go with statuary or a beautiful water feature or something, but stop planting in that soil. It's just going to keep killing things. Anyway, that's what I did. Hey, my name's Ken. We're just neighbors talking over the back fence. This worked for me. I'm just human too. Happen to be a radio host, own a garden center, but I happen to be a gardener too. And I hope the tips help you in your gardens. Water's garden companion plants for August are radio red salvias, butterfly bush, and trumpeting vine.
Large clusters of red and orange flowers create a dramatic show all season long with Water's trumpet vine.
This vigorous vine thrives in heat and blooms profusely with neglect.
Quickly covers large areas as a ground cover, spilling over retaining walls, screening a fence, or cloaking arbors.
Guaranteed to attract more hummingbirds and only found at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.